Hello, welcome back to Namastir's podcast here on YouTube. My name is Blair Lewis, and you may be a fan of the first two videos, and let's face it, who's not? But you may be thinking, Blair, are you a vegan? The answer is no, but I do eat a lot of vegan food. The other question you may be asking is, could you represent CrossFit more? The answer is really not. I think this is the most I could do without a chin-up bar. The third thing you might be thinking is, hey BL, make me something easy, something you can whip up in just a couple of minutes that's next level. So very few things excite the human experience more than the peanut butter and jelly sandwich. So I'm a strawberry preserves guy. That's just how I roll. We have experimented with a lot of different peanut butters, and Adams 100% natural crunchy peanut butter is the one for me. You know, the wife might like the smooth, I like the crunchy. Two ingredients in Adams, peanuts and salt, that's it. I can find that at Walmart. I rarely find it anywhere else. I think it's by far the best. The other things you're going to need, I like sourdough bread, butter, a little bit of olive oil, and as you know, I keep the olive oil in repurposed whiskey jars, and then rosemary. So what this is going to be is a sourdough rosemary grilled peanut butter jelly sandwich. One of the first things that you need to do to elevate your grilled PB&J is to infuse the rosemary into the loving ointment that you're going to be cooking this in. And of course that is butter and a little bit of olive oil. You throw the rosemary in the pan, 1 tablespoon of butter, put it in, get it sizzling, a little bit of olive oil in there. And remember, never measure olive oil. Serial killers do that. Rubber scraper to get it moving around. And the olive oil is going to get nice and flavorful. The butter is going to give you that loving mix that you need for a good PB&J. And then of course the rosemary is going to get it all smelling good. So I'm going to leave that on simmer while I make my PJ sandwich. That way the butter doesn't burn. Later we're going to come back up, crank it up, and we're going to grill the sandwich. But for now, we want that essence of the rosemary to mix in with the butter. All right. There's not a whole lot to this except the joy of watching me do something. And 50% of people who watch my cooking shows, they say, Blair, it's just a joy watching you work. So here you go. This is me spreading peanut butter. Now here's the key to a good grilled peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Part of the joy is when this peanut butter gets hot, it liquefies and it begins to leak out. So my mom used to say you could tell a burger how good it was by how much juice runs down your arm. A grilled PB&J is similar. How much jumps off of your bread and down onto the plate is really how you measure this bad boy. So I like to slather on a pretty healthy amount. You'll kind of see, you can get a little bit of, I don't know, what do you think, 1/8 of an inch there, 1/4 of an inch, something like that. Now we're going to put our strawberry preserves on the other. Same goes for the preserves. You want a healthy amount because, well, you're going to be licking this up with your potato chips. So you're going to put some potato chips down on your plate, and as it drips down onto it, you're going to scoop it up and you get a little extra, little lagniappe, as my Cajun wife would say. So once you get the sandwich made, it really gets to be pretty easy at this point. What we're going to do is we're going to heat that butter back up with the rosemary, move the rosemary over to the side. We're going to grill this thing like you would a grilled cheese sandwich, and we're going to rock and roll. All right, we are back at the iron skillet, which is the thing to cook all items in on the stove. We're going to take this from simmer. We're going to move it back up to hot. We are going to remove what is now very crunchy rosemary. As great as the rosemary flavor is, you don't want the burnt pieces or the crunchy pieces on the sandwich. It's just too much power. How much power? Too much power. And we're going to avoid that at all costs. So, you put together the peanut butter and jelly. You just get it all mixed in there, baby. Oh yeah, that's where the love happens. Move your butter and oil, now smelling like rosemary. Delicious. Over this bad boy. I've got this up to a 6 on, well, quite frankly, a lame electric stove. And we're going to get this bad boy going. Now, the argument becomes, what types of chips do you want to put on here? Look, man, I'm not here to boss you around. You be you. Old BL, I'm going to go with a kettle chip for sure. I'd like to stay in the jalapeno or the sea salt and vinegar, but sometimes one of those crunchy, wavy kettle chips with just salt and pepper hits the spot. So I'll show you a little bit later what I choose today. But you're going to want a good potato chip. Maybe the best with this, though, is nacho cheese Doritos. Hashtag nacho cheese, hashtag sponsor old BL, hashtag let's get this thing on because it's getting hot. All right, baby. So, take the sandwich, put it right in there. Listen for that sizzle. Not a whole lot of science to this. If you're an extra crispy person, I can't help you. Daddy likes the golden brown. So that's how I'm going to roll this bad boy. But if you want to keep it on there and make it extra crispy, you go, girl. Now, here's where you could differ. We have spatulas with slices. We have solid. It's a pretty big piece of bread. So you don't want anything, you know, stubby. You want something that's got some length to it. So, depending on your slice of bread, you may want to go with the Big Bad Daddy. The Big Bad Daddy! That's what I'm going with. So every so often you're going to want to check, how's the toast coming? So you're just taking a little peeky poo. Just a little peeky poo. So this is what we've got so far. See how the jelly's already kind of making its way in the world today, which takes everything you got? I bet this jelly would think taking a break into my belly sure would help a lot. You know, hashtag cheers. All right, so I do 2 tablespoons of butter because I don't like the second side to be hurt feelings. So as I'm gonna flip this, I'm gonna do the difficult maneuver of sliding in that other tablespoon of butter. So it's gonna levitate a little bit, we're gonna melt some butter, and then we're gonna flip it over into it. You'll see it's a two-handed move. I think you'll appreciate it. First goes in the butter, then this comes up, put it on the plate, move your butter around. Make sure to move it in through the rosemary flavored stuff. You don't want your rosemary hugging enough on one side. Now you're gonna execute the flip, baby. Oh yeah. So, we're damn near home free. Gonna let this melt up just a second. See how that little smoke's coming? Normally I'd hit this, get the vent going, but my people deserve more. And quite frankly, they're gonna get it. Now I'm starting to see a little bit of peanut butter make a run for the border, and that's a good sign. It's not your total sign, but it's a good sign that you are heating up the middle. The other side is, if you play with the toast a little bit, you give it just a little wiggle wiggle, it starts to get a little easier flow. You know what I mean? Just, oh yeah, baby, just a little easier flow. So if you feel that wiggle a little bit, almost like the peanut butter's lost its viscosity, that's when you're on the home run track. So let's take a peeky poo. Looks golden delicious. Take this bad boy off, put it on a cutting board, let it rest for a second, turn off your stove. Now I'm going to get my chips for the big reveal. All right, here we are at the finish line. I've got a nice plate of chips. I've got my sandwich, which has been resting on the cutting board. And I am getting ready to cut this bad boy open and enjoy the fruits of my labor. So, some people are diagonal, some people are straight across. I'm a little bit of a diagonal guy. You can kind of see, if I get these chips out of the way, see how the jelly's making a run for the border there? You gotta be kind of quick when you get your cut on. See how it's dripping out of there? That is what you want, my friend. Messy hands, clean heart, just full of living. What chip did I go with? I went with the kettle chips, sea salt and vinegar. And then as I eat this on top, yeah, that's fucking next level, man. That is just next level. Crunchy bread, peanut butter and jelly, which is always a home run. The butter mixed with the olive oil and the rosemary. Throw some chips into that bad boy. Get you the messy finger. That's where you want to be, my friends. Namastir it up, bruh. So some people may say, Blair, can I have your baby? And I understand that. But the other people might say, Blair, what do you drink with a sandwich like that? A sandwich so epic. Well, good old-fashioned milk. Now, because I'm a little bit of a hippie, I use oat milk. I've been out there milking those oats all morning. I find oat milk is the milkiest of all the fake milks, so I highly recommend. It goes great with chocolate chip cookies as well.